It's bust water, bust through and bust moves. Stay true, they kill it, they stay smooth. Handsome brothers stay set in the mood, but they wanted funky rhymes from the brother so cool. Trying to check the vibes and set the conversation. The keenest minds to find this observation. I'm on 10 podcast, so don't not face it. We'll be the first to declare our greatness. Checking, now check it, I'm checking it twice on the weekly. I'm busting, cause busting is life. If you don't know, now you do though. You should peep game, that'd be cool though. Cause your part is crucial, so get on the movement. If you ain't busting, don't know what you doing. Wasting your time and ignoring the truest. Some of the realest, they greatly influence. Kings in Montana creating a movement. Scrapping or rapping or laughing or acting. It really don't matter, cause this is our passion. We busting and trusting. It really is something when it comes to our family. You know that we love them. That's how we roll. Montana in the house and we taking control. Podcast kings in the place to be. We taking over, just wait and see. Slow down and catch the vibe. Weekly buzz will be on tonight. No boasting, true and tried. It's Buzzword, it's ride or die. Slow down and catch the vibe. Weekly buzz will be on tonight. No boasting, true and tried. It's Buzzword, it's ride or die.
Hello, we are live. We're going live with the president and CEO of Fusion Fight League, Terrll, Bracken.
What up, guys?
What's up, brother? How are you?
Hey, man, new theme song. Is that Chaz doing that song?
No, that's Soku, our brother up in Kalispell.
Oh, man, phenomenal. That is a really good opener, and the studio looks fantastic, guys. Studio looks great.
Oh, man, I like your setting, too, man. It seems like you're setting up in a real relaxing environment.
I'm just hanging out at home. It's an evening at home tonight. So, we changed the lights around a little bit for the holidays. It was, St. Patrick's Day. So we had to have a little green, and of course, Fusion's green. So there we go.
Let's go, man. I like the lamp color in the back.
Me too. I like how the bucked up in the top middle is also green.
Yeah,
That's
me
right.
too.
We're color coding.
Yes. So, Mr. President, CEO, what a hell of a weekend.
Oh, it was a weekend. That's for sure. That was a lot of fun. Missoula, Montana never disappoints.
College town, man, and they showed up for the fights. You never know what with the college environment, and they showed up for the fights, man.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, considering it was spring break, we got a decent turnout considering it was spring break and St. Patrick's Day and stuff like that. So I'm happy with that.
Gymnastics as well. What's
that?
State gymnastics apparently was going on as well.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
In Missoula, yeah.
So.
Wow. Okay. That's Montana, something.
One to recall, one to remember, one that I personally will hold dear to my heart, man. There was a main event that was just a slammer that we can get into a little later, but what an event itself.
All the way through. And I tell you, some events come together. I've said this before. Some events come together really smooth and nice. Fights stay together and hold up. And then sometimes it's just a nightmare. And wow, we fight week. Fight week on Monday, we call that Black Monday because that's usually when some of our dropouts happen. This is one of the first times in a long time that we had 4 fights drop out fight week alone. So, hats off to Ryan Hall. Scrambled really hard to make sure that we had enough fights on the card. And, while we may not have had as many fights on this card, I think the quality of the fights, we only had 1 fight that finished in the first round, and it was an exciting fight. It was a great submission. It got submission of the night. That was the only first round ending. Other than that, they were all 2 and 3 round fights, and a 5-round fight. I don't know what more anybody could ask for. I was really happy with the fights. Great job, Ryan Hall.
Ryan Hall has gotten to the point in my eyes where he is the man. He feeds these fighters. These fighters are always looking for a chance. He's the man that seems to give them the opportunity. His matchmaking has gotten really, really, really good. Missoula proves that. If his hands had any hands of doing in that was an incredible work of Ryan Hall. And man, that was every fight was incredible. I want to echo what you were saying. The submission.
Yeah, that was 100% Ryan's card. So yeah, he did a great job on that.
Oh, there we go.
Let's go, Ryan, man. Hats off to you, man. Levi, what are your thoughts on Missoula as soon as we got there, man? That was fun, right?
My kiddo's gonna stop in and say hi. This is Scarlett, probably future owner of Fusion Fight League right here.
Hi, Scarlett.
They said hi. All right. Yep. She actually came to me and was talking to me about her idea to have a wrestling tournament at the beginning of a fusion show, and she wants to run it. So, I think I might have a promoter in the making. Poor girl.
Offers already, huh?
There we go.
Yeah.
What I think of Missoula?
Yeah. No, in general, the whole the whole event, the trip.
Oh, I liked it. Me and Ty hiked the M, and then we got we were like 10 minutes out from the start of the weigh-ins, so we come in a little, gas.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody does that. When people come in from out of town, people that we bring in from Vegas or Phoenix or wherever, they always want to climb up and get to the top of the M. So that's a pretty cool thing to do. And the weather was great.
Oh, yeah. Friday night, it was freaking nice out, man.
You couldn't have asked for better weather to climb it. But by the time me and Levi got up there, man, we was gassed.
Yeah. Goes up. Yeah, boys, 13 minutes to the top and back, or 13 minutes to the top. No problem. Me and Tyler like, gee, 13 minutes, we'll do that. We'll have enough time to shower, change, and get to the weigh-ins.
The going up is rough. The coming down part, that's just all the way down. I think that goes a lot faster.
Now you know why people are jogging down that thing, man.
Right?
Tuck and roll, baby. Tuck and roll.
Me and Ty passed two chicks, that looked in better health than us, but we passed them. So let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we invite anybody that's going to Missoula, man. Whether it's for a fusion, a Grizz game, whatever it is, man, go hit that hike because it was incredible. It was worth it, and it felt self-accomplishing, and it set the tone for the trip for me, man. I was just like, yeah, we were on the roll. I think all the boys we were just so on point. We had all the equipment we felt we needed to have a really good, solid trip. We got all the footage that we needed, I think, where we have so much to siphon through, by the way, Terrell. It's going to be incredible when we do end up putting the vlog out.
Nice.
I think we got all the content that we needed. So I felt that the tone of the hike also set the tone of the whole trip. So we pull into the Fusion event and we get to look at the venue for the first time. I was like, oh shit, this looks incredible, man.
Yeah, I've never been to the Adams Center, so.
Yeah, really. I mean, the Adams Center for me is one of my favorite venues. It's just the way that the seating around the arena goes. It's like a bowl. It's like a coliseum. You're looking right down into the cage. There's that gorgeous LED scoreboard over the top, four-sided scoreboard that sits right over the top of the cage. Yeah, it's just, and then our stage and walkout and the LED screen behind the walkout. It's a really nice package. It's big enough to seat the amount of people that we want, but not so big that the energy gets lost. And that's a really important thing about a venue. That's why when we do Metro Park, we do a half house arena and try and cut it down, because we still want the cage to be close enough to those arena seats, and we want that energy to still be in the arena.
Yeah.
I think Missoula's next go around is going to be so much more fun for me because, we had to feel out the environment, the venue, and I just didn't know where to go at first. Now we have a system, I think. It's all a matter of learning everything because at first it was kind of stressful.
So that doesn't work for the Adams Center. We have to have a whole new strategy.
Yeah, that's actually life. Yeah.
I mean, it's not far away, but it's a whole different location. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a completely different feel. I love fights under the lights. I love the ballpark. That Paddlehead Stadium is such a beautiful ballpark, and we are going back this summer. We are doing fights under the lights. I believe that's going to be in June. We're going to release the rest of our schedule coming up here pretty soon. But it's we're just kind of finalizing our summer. We've got most of our fall dates put together already. And then we'll start working ahead on 2025 right off the bat. But we love Paddlehead Stadium. It's a phenomenal field, beautiful, picturesque, the mountains and everything like that. So yeah, that's a fun one.
I just seen recently that NCAA was voted like they were doing like best locations for college stadiums and college in Missoula, just in general, the city, they said it was like ranked 11th in the whole country. Like, it's just incredible.
We'll take 11. That's
ain't bad. I mean, no
Yep.
quote me. It was
So-
up there though.
Do we want to go over the card before we?
Yeah, that's what I think. I think let's recap, because the card, let's honor these fighters the way they should be. Let's break down each fight because man, were they all awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single fight on this card that wasn't just like, oh man, this was awesome, dude.
Yeah, and props to the fighters that stepped up. And and actually, before we jump into the card, I do want to take a minute to take issue with some of the dropouts that we had because I feel like there are legitimate reasons why sometimes fighters pull out of fight cards, and we've been doing this long enough that we know the difference. We can tell, and coaches give us inside information, training partners, everybody like that. We know who's dropping out for what reasons in the long run. We always want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but dropping out for lame reasons is something that I'm going to really start taking issue with, and because it's not only rough on the promotion, it sucks for the fans that were looking forward to a fight, and it's really horrible for the opponent that put in an entire training camp, got his family and friends fired up to watch him fight, and then all of a sudden you've got a fighter pulling out the week of a fight for a lame reason. It's like, so fighters are always going to be injured. Nobody ever fights 100%. So I think there's a difference between something that is just sore and something that is broke, something that is hurt and should not be trained on. And don't get me wrong, if there's a legitimate physical reason for not, but a doctor's excuse, we require that at a bare minimum to have a doctor's excuse. But let's face it, anybody can go and complain about something, and the doctor's going to, when the doctor says, okay, ice that and take some ibuprofen, and you're a week out, that's probably not a very serious injury. Or if somebody says, we'll be off of it for one day, that's probably not, but yet you've been training all week long on it. It's really
be able to combat that off of some reason. Maybe get your own doctor to take a look at injuries and following kind of those doctor requests, saying perfect, you got your personal doctor, but we also have a medical doctor. We kind of want to take a look at it as well in order for it to classify as a medical excuse for you to be absent from your contracted fight.
I wish we had the ability to do that. We'd have to have a doctor that was willing to travel or something like that. And I don't know how logistically we would do that, but just bottom line, if you flake out on us, I reserve the right to not book you for a fight again. And I can tell you there are 4 fighters in particular that I will never have back on my card again, ever. And the excuses, we had one fighter, Avery Birdsville. Avery was like, he got his blood work turned in, he got everything, and I'm going to put people on blast. I have no problem with it. Avery, because people love to put us on blast when we screw something up. So, hey, guess what? This is going to be a two-way street.
Dana does it. I don't see any difference in Terrell doing it.
Yeah, and as long as we're stating the facts. I mean, Avery pulled out. He had all of his blood work turned in. He had everything done, ready to go, and then said, "I can't make it." Really? I mean, okay. So there's a fighter that won't ever fight for us again. Brady Needles just decided fight week that he just didn't feel like fighting anymore. He just wasn't about fighting anymore, and pulled because of that reason. That's the reason that I was given. I didn't get these reasons directly, but through the matchmaker, that's what I'm told. Lance Regenball, sore foot. His foot was sore. His foot was bothering him. Trained on it pretty regularly. The doctor's note didn't seem very convincing. And I mean, there's a kid that he was begging for a title fight. Super talented. Love Lance. Was so excited to watch that fight. And then he bails.
Anything?
What's that?
Was there any response from his camp?
A lot of people were unhappy with him pulling off of that card. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but a lot of people did not feel that was a real cool thing and did not support him in that pullout. And I certainly don't support him.
We were a bit disappointed ourselves with him rocking,
He just lost he lost the opportunity to fight for a title, and he wanted it so bad and said that he was so ready for it. And then Jared Torgerson, Jared's been in this game a long time, and his hand started hurting. He said his hand hurt and it was really swollen, but he had no idea why. He had no idea why his hand hurt or why it was swollen. And the doctor's note that we got said no fractures, no tendon damage. Take ibuprofen, ice, elevate, and that's it. So, and I never saw any pictures of a big swollen hand or anything like that. But it's kind of like, you know, a lot of people realize last minute that they just don't want to fight the monster that Jared was about ready to fight. And it just sucks because Harbison has had so many fights pull out on him. It is such a disservice to that fighter who has put in so much work. And all I ask is that let your yes be yes, let your no be no.
Yeah, that's Torgerson.
He's a Missoula kid.
No, Torgerson's from Washington, and I had so much respect for Jared Torgerson, and if anybody that I thought would not pull out, it would have been Jared. But you know, when you make a post the day before and say you're not in the right headspace, and then the next day your hands hurt, it is what it is, and I just. I'm sorry, love Jared, but I have no respect for this one. And here's the deal. So a lot of people don't understand that I look at this from every point of view. I look at it from the point of view of a coach. I look at it from the point of view of the promotion. I also look at it from a fighter's point of view. When I had my very first MMA fight ever, I had my very first fight less than a month after my dad passed away. And that was gut-wrenching to me. Losing my dad was a really, really big deal. It was a nasty battle with cancer. And when he died, I was gutted and I didn't want to fight. I didn't feel like it. I didn't want to. It was in my own hometown. I didn't want to have a bad performance in front of my hometown. I lost so much weight going through all of that I almost wasn't able to fight because I didn't have enough weight. I was like below the weight class.
Yeah.
And I really didn't want to, but you know what? I gave my word and I said that I was going to fight. And so I showed up and I fought. So I'm not asking anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do. I have competed injured. I have competed hurt. I have competed in one form or another of combat sports since 1985. So I get it.
Not asking, but any other promoters not asking either, man. You look at David, man, the way he starts some of these campaigns, he starts like especially prospects. He says, "You guys are here to fucking fight, man."
Yep. And you got your opportunity. You've got your opportunity to prove it. And we're bending over backwards to give you absolutely the best stage that we can. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to start off with a fight card that is just like a golden star, super good, full standard MMA fight. It's like it is a dream fight card, and then you just gradually watch fights fall off. And it happens all the time. It happens to all the promoters. I'm not just complaining for Fusion Fight League. I'm complaining for all promotions as like fighters. And part of it is like you get a little bit more of it with independent fighters. So we're using less and less independent fighters. We'll use things like Throwdown Challenger Series to give those fighters a chance to prove themselves. But when you got a club fighter, it is just disappointing to see those things. So I'll get off my soapbox now, but man, I'm telling you, I was pretty bitter about those, and I can tell you that's 4 individuals that will never fight on our fight card again. So.
Well, you know, the boss has made his announcement on as far as the pullouts and how he feels about it.
And Wes Kill Eagle says he feels the same way.
Let's give the fighters who did show up a round of applause. We're gonna get into this amazing card that did truly perform. These guys performed at high levels, man. I watched every fight from the side.
Hold on, guys. I'm gonna fix something really quick.
Shout out to Leo. Leo Brasier's in here. Let's go.
I have to do this fast. How much is it?
Fight. We know that's true.
Montana legend in the house. Oh my man. Hopefully we can score Tim Welch. I was speaking with him today, and it sounds like he might open up maybe a piece of his schedule. And if it does open up, he might come on the bus, you guys.
So we hope to see everybody here.
Unofficial announcement, I guess. You know.
What was that announcement that Leo's coming on the bus?
Leo's always more than welcome to come on the bus. But I was speaking with Tim Welch today, a little privately, and he just mentioned that maybe if his schedule opens up here in a little bit, he might
Tim.
be on the show.
Yep. You know, I mean, some of the people that come out of Montana, and you know, talking about fighters like that, those are guys that showed up and fought every time. So, you know, no excuses, stepped up, did their job, especially Leo. Yeah, just I mean, really, really phenomenal. Tim Welch. So many people are calling it exactly the way I see it too. One of the greatest coaching minds in MMA today. You just can't say enough about how awesome Tim Welch is.
Yeah, he's awesome. He behind the scenes has given me a lot of advice as far as the show, and he's led me and guided me in ways that I've appreciated in many ways.
Oh yeah, so shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to
Yeah.
Leo too. He's always the legend. He's always the man holding down the team over here in Great Falls and saluting Montana as he goes and reps us around the nation as well. He does it well too, man. Leo always performs good. But
Yeah.
back to the guys who just
Jump into
performed.
this fight card. Yeah, let's jump into this fight card. I mean, so when we were in the fighter meeting, one of the things that I told the guys was I said, hey guys, this is a little bit of a shorter fight card than what we normally have. I'm asking everybody to really bring it. Everybody really represent and really do a great job on this card. Leave it all in the cage. And I really challenged the first fight to really step up. We always like to start our events with a big bang, and I really challenged the first fight. And I gotta tell you, it was Bowden Graham and Jacob Gatch, and those two. Do you guys not agree that was a phenomenal first fight right out of the box?
I'm gonna be 100% authentically me and be 100% authentic to the truth. I think a lot of people slept on Gatch.
He doesn't carry himself with confidence unless he's just a cold killer. But
we've seen him at the weigh-ins. Let's talk about weigh-ins, man, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
They did the face-offs, and it just, you look at certain fights and you read them on position, and you read them kind of like a cover of a book. You're like, well, shit, this is probably gonna go to Graham, right?
Yep,
I mean, which eventually did, but did Gatch not fucking perform like a dog?
No.
Oh, absolutely. Those low leg kicks that he was throwing were just phenomenal. His anti-takedown game was definitely good. He was locking up a headlock and just driving knees to the body. His submission defense, obviously Bowden did a great job. We expected Bowden to do a good job, and he came away with the decision. But it was a decision fight. It went all the way, all 3 rounds, and
it was awesome.
You cannot judge a fighter by looking at them. That is one of the biggest. Some of the scariest guys in the world aren't, and some of the people that don't look like, guys. Royce Gracie in UFC 1 should have taught everybody that from day one. It's not about how scary you look. It's not about how big your muscles are. It's about how well you fight. That fighting spirit, how technical you are, your ability, your fighting spirit. That you don't have a quit button. That's what it's about.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Bowden's from Dog Pound, right? Graham. Graham's from
That's his name,
Bowden, right? Yeah, he's from Dog Pound.
Yeah, yep. Missoula Dog Pound fighter, which Dog Pound fighters are always tough.
Yeah, there's a ton of experience there, and I'm not taking anything from anyone there, but he has a ton of experience there where Gatch, who was very much the underdog and very slept on, he comes out of what was it, Pablo or Polson?
It was SBG Polson, yeah.
Yeah, see, it's a really small gym compared to Dog Pound, man. And so going into this, very much, kind of off of a cover, you're like, who's gonna win this fight? The way the match was made, though, you got a very much slept on dude, very much like a upcoming fighter. He was all the
SBG schools are top notch. They turn out great fighters, whether it's, Jesse Brock turning out fighters out of SBG Idaho. You've got Gus Nolte turning fighters out of SBG Missoula. Just really good program there. And those fighters, as those programs, Dog Pound's been around forever. Matt Powers has been around forever. Gus is relatively new on the scene, and those guys turning out phenomenal fighters.
I agree, man, and that was the proof is in the pudding as far as Gatch went.
But I was gonna say, we were just talking about because it just didn't seem as if he carried himself with exuberant confidence, But
no, he had it in Bruce Lee style, zenned out. You couldn't tell that he was ready for war. Fact.
Yeah. So did I hear you right? Did you say the poop was in the pudding? Who pooped in your pudding? If you want to get that, go around this way.
It says poof.
Who pooped in your pudding, man? Never heard that one before. That one's new.
The top of the top,
no,
I don't know.
2 girls with 1 cup or something.
But the next fight as well, man. So moving on to Edwards versus Houle. So this fight kind
Shout out
of
to our boy Trent Edwards.
Yeah, Trent Edwards, he showed a lot of heart, man, by continuing. It seemed like he may have like lost his, he lost the takedown battle. You got to give it to Hool where he was active with the takedown ground game.
I thought
Yeah.
Hool was puking between round one, to be honest with
Me
you.
too. I did too.
I was like, oh, he's your outfit.
Well, Hool did not want to stand with Trent. He obviously did not want to stand with him. When Hool had him on the ground, though, he had a very heavy top game. He kept his hips heavy and he stayed very heavy on him. Hard ground and pound. I thought for a fighter that's a debut fighter, that's some of the best ground and pound I've seen out of a debut, and just hard and heavy hips. But for Hool, he's got to get more confidence in his stand-up game to keep going, to level up fight after fight after fight.
I thought he was going to gas from all the work he was putting in on the ground, because he couldn't finish Trent is the way he wanted to, because Trent was, like I said, he was showing heart. He was hanging in there. He was getting out of he was doing reversals, doing all he could to get out of there, but he got smothered by Hool. The reality is that Hool came out and did what he needed to do and got the win over Trent. But I think ultimately the fighters showed what they needed to do onto their next fight. I think Trent, it was excellent. Yeah. I think they learned a lot. It was a great fight in the long run, and it showed a lot of experience from both sides.
Yep.
So they could take it into
Great fight. I was really happy with that one. I had somebody just send me a message asking me if I ordered a pizza or what. Yes, I was ordering a pizza. I was getting a pizza. Got to feed my kids. So.
How did they know that? How did they figure that out? I didn't know you were
they knew it. They said, "What? Did you order a pizza or what?" Yep, that's my bad.
Do you need if you need to grab the door or whatever, let me know.
Nope, it's all handled. It's all good. It's all good. I'm all yours. I just had to step away for a quick second and pay the man.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah, little embarrassed. So bout number 3 was the boxing match. That was Caden Meade and Jesse Henderson. Who did you guys think was going to win that fight?
We got to go with our man Jesse.
I was going to say I had a heavy bias on my boy Jesse. So
we're heavy bias.
Yeah, I honestly, I was the same way. I thought Jesse was going to win that fight too, but you got to hand it to Caden, pulled out the decision, and Jesse really fought well, and I think he's going to continue to do better and better and better. But Jesse's 37 years old, and he was fighting a guy that's 19 years old. So props to Jesse Henderson. That is one of the hardest things I can tell you from personal experience. That's what holds me back the most right now is cardio. Once you're in your late 30s, early 40s and above, cardio is really hard, no matter how hard you work it. And I think that was Jesse's probably biggest downfall, was his cardio.
Can the bus take a little responsibility on this? Maybe, I don't know if it affected him or anything like this, but we did have him and Jake.
No. I already asked about that. Jake said Jesse put Jake through that. Jesse basically only hiked the end.
Okay, I was like,
because does that every day. He didn't.
I was like, our boy Jess was hanging out with Jake, and they I know they were getting it.
Well, I asked that after the fight.
Did Jesse climb the M the day of the fight?
Not day of.
The day before. Okay. He did hit it before, though.
He said he does that pretty often. So he said he was all right. But no, they put Jake through a hell day, but Jesse was basically the instructor on it. He wasn't part of it. So.
Okay.
So let's give it to Meade, though. Meade stayed active. They both had some good exchanges. There was blood. I think, was that first blood of the night?
Could have been, no. Trent Edwards. There was a lot of blood in the Trent Edwards Hool fight. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did have a bloody nose, it looked like, and it was bleeding pretty good.
He was doing good on the ground, though. So.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yep. Right, that is right.
Well, and going back to that fight, unfortunately, Trent, this is part of us having a state athletic commission and third party oversight. They are going to look after the safety of the fighters, and Trent, for his own well-being, has a 60-day suspension, so that they can ensure that he has adequate time to heal up, because we look after our athletes.
Injury?
What's that?
Can you disclose injury?
It was just overall damage sustained.
Word. Okay. Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
And that's a decision that the athletic commissioner makes on the spot. And so, unfortunately, we lost Trent from the Great Falls card, which is really disappointing. But the kid put in a great fight, and the most important thing is fighter safety. We're going to take every precaution, and that's the difference between a sanctioned show and an unsanctioned show. Because fighters, so. We talked about the fighters that bagged out for the reasons that we didn't really like very much.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the other side of that spectrum too. That fighters that they don't know when to hit the pause button and say, I need heal up time. And so we definitely want to make sure that we're shining a spotlight on that too, and saying, like, I have no problem that I'm sure that a couple of weeks from now, Trent will look fine. He'll look great. And a month from now, he'll look fine and look great. But at the same time, there's more than just the way a fighter looks on the outside. There's a lot of healing that goes on. And so when it comes to that kind of stuff, we're not going to mess with that. I agree totally. Let's give him the time to make sure he heals, because a career should be a longevity thing.
Great. He has a great team behind him. He has a good head on him. He's a young kid. He's really passionate about the sport. Trent, I expect you to bounce back and do so well.
He's still young.
I'll rabbit trail a little bit and talk about, because I was just talking with somebody about this, that fights like that, especially at the professional level, like you look at the Sean O'Malley fight, this last Sean O'Malley fight, tell me that fight, that 5-round battle did not take longevity off of both of those fighters. You just, those take it out of you over the long haul. And I think I saw a picture that Sean, was that an accurate picture that Sean left the cage with a splint on one arm and a walking boot on one foot?
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, tell me, there's wear and tear on the human body, and you feel that stuff down the road. I mean, trust me, with all the judo and martial arts and gymnastics and everything and motorcycle crashes at my age, I feel it when I get up in the morning. I mean, it just, when the weather changes, I'm knowing it. So, I believe that wars like that definitely take life off of a fight, and I think even more so for the heavier weight fighters that really feel that impact. But yeah, that's a factor. So we want to look out for them and do those suspensions.
Most fighters, but Jesse Henderson, on the other hand, seems to be age reversing.
Yes.
He has, and it seems like, even with coming off of this loss, I mean, he banged his heart out there. He wishes he could have got more active. He said it himself that he's like, shit, I should have worked cardio a little more. We did talk to him. We caught up with him a little bit afterwards, and salute to him, man. He did go. Yeah. He did bang it out, man. But
he's going to come back. He's going to come back better, stronger, better, faster, stronger. I'm looking forward to having him on our cards moving forward.
Me too.
What a good spirit, man.
Thank you to everybody that has noticed the new studio. We have the door. I mean, we have the windows open right now, but
yeah, maybe our man can give you a little look around real quick. While we're talking, moving on.
So is this the maiden voyage of the new studio? No, I didn't think so.
What's that?
Yes, it was the maiden voyage. I was like, no, not technically.
What do you mean?
It's like
it's not the first time that you guys have been doing stuff in the new studio.
I don't know that term, but no. We've had like 6-7 episodes, I think. Yeah.
Maiden voyage. It's the first time a ship sails.
No, we're in here, man. We're in here now. We've been in here for about a couple.
Good shit.
Yeah, look. Hey, there's a fusion.
It looks beautiful. There you go. Flying the colors. Yeah.
You can see it in between, right next to 20 past 4.
Yeah, we got a fusion sticker there. I don't know if you can see it. It blends in pretty good.
But,
nice.
No, we're moved in, man. So shout out to that. But
let's get on to the grappling match with the teammates. Sanders.
Yeah, so we did the grappling matches, and we were worried. At one point, we were worried that we were going to lose another fight on the card, because we had a fighter that had to maintain a certain weight by noon on fight day, and if he would have come in over that weight, because he didn't make weight for weigh-ins, so the condition was, and that was our co-main event. So the condition was you can only gain so much weight. So we were on the verge of actually losing another fight because of that. and we wanted to do some things to make sure that our show was good. And these guys wanted to step up and do some grappling matches, and it gives us a chance. The grappling matches kind of gives us a chance to educate the crowd as to what's happening on the ground, so that they understand position, dominant position, escaping positions, different things like that.
I loved it. Like I said, I will always say,
grappling match.
yeah, I loved it all.
Dude.
Do you know why I loved it? I loved the commentary on it from Terrll. I love that I got a chance to sit there and learn it, because I'm always wanting to say, Levi, I'm not really familiar with the terms or what they're exactly doing, so I don't like to talk so much on MMA, because I'm a boxing guy. I'm a big boxing guy, and we're moving into helping cover fusion, because I learned to love MMA as much as I have for other combat sports now. I've got this other love for it. Now I'm learning it as fast as I can. And I'm not saying I'm unfamiliar with it. I've been watching it for years, but I'm definitely not well versed enough to say.
You're saying like you don't know the different types.
Definitely not in transition as they're going live. You know what I mean? I'm not there yet. So when you were doing it, Terrell, I loved it. It gave me a chance to slow it down a little bit, learn as you're transitioning and as they're doing it. It was awesome.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
like
so
that.
those were good fights. Gave Hudson Kettenring a chance to get into the cage. He wasn't able to fight because his hand is still healing up, but he could grapple well enough, and so gave him a chance to get in there and be seen by the crowd. And that was a nice thing for Hudson. And yeah, it was just kind of fun all the way around. So
See, I like watching both those Kettering boys.
Me too. I was just
They're
gonna say, them dog pound little brothers, dude, they're badass, dude.
Yeah, they're
well, that takes us into bout number 5, and that was Tyler Burton and Holden Kettenring. And I gotta say that fight was
Awesome.
that fight was awesome, awesome. And if we had a category for most improved fighter, that would definitely be Bateman. That would be Holden Kettenring. Like, he leveled up. He's done good every fight, but he just leveled up so much from his, because that was his 4th fight. So from his 3rd fight to his 4th fight, he just grew in leaps and bounds. I mean, his hands, he was picking his shots really well. He was delivering solid knees. Just landing big shots.
The knees, they both exchanged some wicked knees. They really did leave it out there on both of them. That's one fighter we didn't get a post-fight interview with, due to the fact that they did bang it out so much. I don't think he had much left in him. I don't think he had oxygen to give an interview, to be honest with you. He said, give me a second, I'll come out there. And then we just got caught up. As you get rolling, you just kind of get lost. But hats off to that fighter. That fighter was, I also agree. I've seen him fight a few times live.
That's where our boy Kyle Serber boxed.
Haven't we seen him fight on 3 different cards now? I swear we've seen him fight on one here, Mountain Force, and maybe Wesley's Kill Eagles. And
his record's 2-1. His record's 2-1. We'd have to pull Tapology to see where all he fought. But yeah, he's but at the same time, we got to hand it to Tyler Burton. He came out hot, came out just with a ton of energy. Great takedowns, great takedown attempts. He really took punishment super well and just kept coming back and coming back. Tyler is truly going to be bad news for a lot of his opponents moving forward. I'm excited to have him back.
We got to put that on.
Was that the Idaho kid? The press conference is on too. Let's also post that up at the same time.
We'll just put it up.
Yeah, we'll put it up.
Anyways, on to the Jukes Campbell fight.
That fight was is this the triangle fight?
Yeah, this is a triangle fight, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So this fight had high intensity because the boys, they were a little bigger than the rest of the fighters coming in. They had size on them. You never really knew who had an edge in this fight coming in. And they immediately, as soon as ref said, "Are you guys ready?" Man, they shook their heads. Yes. It was on. And it came down to technical grappling, and before you fucking knew it, you watched somebody go to sleep, and it was amazing.
Like out. And that's that. obviously, again, two really good clubs. You've got SBG Missoula, which they are known for their jiu-jitsu, and then you've got Olson, Brandon Olson, turning out of Hamilton. Brandon Olson, for people that don't know who the animal is, he's been fighting for a long time. He's a Silvio bearing black belt. Came up through the dog pound. He's fought guys like, I watched him fight Dennis Hallman in Kalispell. Brandon Olson is truly a beast and is turning out really tough fighters. But yeah, both the guys were only 155 pounds, but they were both tall, like 5'11" and 6 foot. So that was fun to watch body wise, the matchup, because they were even matched, both two really tall guys. But yeah, I mean, it was just, and as far as like, as far as Anthony going out, what I really liked about that was Michael knew that he was out. He thought he was pretty sure that he was out, and he was letting off a little bit and trying to let the referee see, and the referee was trying to verify, okay, is he really out? Is he really out? And then when he determined, yes, he is, and he let go. To me, that was tremendous sportsmanship on Campbell's part. And the referee was just doing the best that he can, because you certainly don't want to break a submission when
I continue, because he's sleeping.
Yeah.
And there was nothing the ref could do, because he was looking.
Right when that hammer, or right when the triangle was locked in, he got like 2 hammer fists in. Then he waited, and then he knew he was going, and he just watched him go. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
My boy Jim Villa said, I see fusion fight all over. I hope to make it to an event one day. #respect. That's our boy Jay Villa. He is the man. He's
the man behind the scenes for
BKFC.
He helps. He's all the guys. He runs the whole crew that helps assemble everything.
I appreciate that. I mean, we're just the little engine that could. We're going to keep trying to grow and get better. And, so much respect for BKFC and how much I've learned through my involvement with BKFC. I really believe that they have a lot to do with they really helped me to expand my vision on what Fusion Fight League is capable of. Like, we did a post-fight press conference and different things like that. A lot of the little things that we do, I've picked a lot of things up from them.
By the way. Oh man, I forgot all about that, dude. I wasn't even going to bring that up because I forgot about it. It was so amazing. I forgot all about it. Terrll. No shit. I forgot about that, man.
Well, those are the ways that we really want to do more with our pre-fight press conferences. We want to do more with our face-offs. We want to do more with our post-fight press conferences. It all takes a lot of I'm pushing my whole team to their max. We have champagne taste on a beer budget. There is no way around it. We have champagne taste on a beer budget. That was
do extremely well. And Missoula was by far my favorite functioning fusion show myself. The way it was ran, the way it was performed, the way you guys had everything structured. That was my favorite improvement from the takeaway from your guys' production, was how well it functioned.
Yep. And we brought Paris Brett on board to be one of our team members, and he brings such a great dimension. The pre-fight interviews and different things like that we're doing. And you're going to see a lot more coming by way of video features, whether it's promotional videos for the event or different things like that. He did the wrap up video, our post fight video after the event. That came out like yesterday.
You look dope too. Shout out to Paris for making us look cool as shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I just the whole team, Levi Adams doing all of our production work, Aaron Wood helping with all the production stuff as well. Levi's our production manager. Aaron's the engineer. Chad Korb doing all of our video graphics, all of our still graphics, everything like that. And those guys work really, really hard. They put in a ton of time, effort, and energy. Bryce Turcotte doing some of our graphics and doing photographs. And, those guys really help me because they put in a lot of time for not a ton of money. And as we grow, those are the people that are helping us to get to where we are.
This inspires you and your team at all. David Feldman just now was able, he was on the show. He graced us with his presence. Like, he likes to do every once in a while. He graced his presence and told us that as soon as he lands the deal that he wanted in Saudi Arabia, he was in position for the first time to gracefully pay back all the people that helped him. And he landed that deal. The next couple days later, I messaged him. I said, "How did things go?" And he sent me all I needed to know was things went great, thumbs up.
Yeah.
And that was, I know that for the first time, that man got to do exactly what we all have in mind as far as business owners and things go. You're probably not far behind them. Your company's doing great.
I appreciate it, and it's definitely as a result of all of the team that works so hard to do it. So I'm nothing without the team. I'm nothing without the fighters, and I'm nothing without the fans, and I'm nothing without the sponsors. It takes all of them to make a successful event. You take away any one of those, and this whole thing folds. Fusion Fight League could move forward without me tomorrow. I believe that there's no one person that's irreplaceable. It's like I did a post one time about that, about stick your hand in a bucket of water, pull it out, and as fast as that water fills that hole, so too can you be replaced. And I'm not irreplaceable. My team, if something happened to me tomorrow, I have full faith that my team would rally and pull things together, and Fusion Fight League would move forward without me. I mean, that's a given. So it's all about the team. It's not about me.
That's nice to have your team that confident, where you're to have a team that you can have that kind of confidence in. But speaking of some people who had some confidence, you had a fighter coming up that was extremely confident, and he had a very hard fight and ended up not taking the victory. And that their fighter I'm referencing is Mason.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It was that was a rough fight coming together. There was a lot of difficulties with that, and Zach, got to hand it to Zach. He just battled through and battled through. Mason was not happy with his performance, and you know what? Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we don't fire the way that we want to in competition, and just that kind of that failure to launch. And sometimes there's nothing that you can do about that. But that's that expression about it's not what happens to you, it's how you deal with what happens to you.
Yes.
And I believe that Mason will come back on fire as a result of that. And honestly, I hope that Zach Bade walks away with more confidence, because there was a minute or two there where he doubted.
I want to keep my hat off to the kid, man. He did really good.
There was a minute or two there where he doubted himself, that he was real hesitant about, Cameron's overweight. And Cameron was really, really cool about not making weight. He took full responsibility that he water loaded improperly. He messed up his water load and just did not. But when he said, okay, I guarantee that tomorrow at noon I will only be this weight, they picked the weight. And Cameron, to make a point, came in a pound under that weight because he really wanted to. He was only allowed to put on, I think it was like 3 pounds. So, and he came in a pound under. So, obviously he went that night, probably ate, and then did another full weight cut that morning. And if you don't think that didn't take it out of his performance, how does it not? But, hats off to Zach too, because Zach stepped up and he pushed himself, and you could see Zach's confidence build as that fight went on.
I agree.
I think that was a really good experience for both fighters. And you know what? That's what amateur fights are about. And I want to say it really, really loud and clear. Amateur fight records really don't mean crap. They really, really don't. Your pro record means a lot, but your amateur time period is all about learning. It's all about finding your weak spots. It's finding holes in your game and perfecting and getting better at those holes. Finding out what you're doing well and continuing to do that. People get so wrapped up in their win-loss record as an amateur, and I don't think that shouldn't be that way. I mean, you go learn. That's what amateur fighting is about.
If I could give any advice to Mason, is that wasn't a loss. That was a learning lesson. Don't take L's on your record for losses. Just make them feel like learning lessons. You did great. Turn that excitement and confidence into passion, because you got plenty of that. And I think he'll do really, really, really well. Like you were saying, I think he'll bounce back perfectly. And to Zach Bade, Salutes to you, my man. You came into enemy turf and you performed and you got the W and you shocked the stadium. And I think you deserve to have everybody give you some hands up, man, because you performed really well.
Well, also we got to hand it to that team, Warrior Camp. Warrior Camp turns out monsters. So I think that we definitely have to call attention to that too. I mean, Rose and Pablo are a great coaches. They're a great program, and anybody that comes out of Warrior Camp is going to be tough, no doubt about it.
Awesome. That's good to know for myself as a reference in the future.
Hell yeah.
Now we have the granddaddy, the Mac Daddy,
The 5-round war between
the Montana. Really, this one will go down in Montana history. People will talk about this one for many years to come. It was such a good main event title fight, pro welterweight between a really, really tough and experienced Gage Saunders as the champion, defending his title against the Montana Missoula legend himself, Lloyd Mix. And boy, was it worth it. It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really excited to see that fight. I didn't think that fight would go to a 5-round war. I really didn't. I figured that either someone would knock someone out, or I believed that if it got to be too trying, Gage would take Lloyd down and try it. Which, not to say that Lloyd doesn't have good ground, but I really thought that's the way it would go. Gage made a statement. He said, "No, I'm not going to take him to the ground." And a lot of fighters say that, but when things start going a little bit difficult, they go to that. But all props to Gage. Gage wanted to prove a point that his stand-up game has really evolved, and he wanted to give credit to his stand-up coach. And yeah, I mean, that was a great fight. People have questioned Lloyd's durability, and after his fight with Dallas Davison and BKFC, and now after this 5-round war with Gage, nobody should ever doubt either one of those two fighters. They are both monsters.
I wanted to just say how beautiful and how honored I was to watch such a gorgeous fight go down, and I got to witness it. Because I seen a chess match. I seen teamwork. I seen corners. I seen fighters. I seen it all come into play. I watched takedown defense. I watched striking defense. I watched good striking offense. I watched good takedown attempts. I seen it all in this. I seen both fighters strategically looking at each other eye to eye, man to man, questioning one another as if it was a strategy of war. And that is what true fighting is all about. I felt honored to watch those men step in there into the cage in there. Like I said, they walked in there as men and left as warriors that night, because there was blood on the mat. I'm sure there was sweat in there, like the sweat, tears, the whole thing that you asked for in an incredible main event. It was freaking there.
Right. Hell yeah.
There's blood everywhere.
Yeah. I did take the story. Shorts. It was just everything you asked for, man. I listened to both corners scream strategies. I seen both fighters respond as if they were robot programmed it as a hive-minded, working together as how it should be. And it was a thing of beauty. I remember sitting back and I looked back. I don't know if it was Fenner or if it was Levi. I said, "This is fucking beautiful. This is what fighting is."
When that fight got put together, and that's all credit to Ryan. When that fight got put together, I had chills. It was like that is a fight, and that's really that's my benchmark moving forward. Is it a fight that I want to see? And so I'm really looking hard for that now in our fight cards moving forward, and every one of those fights I think was an enjoyable fight. And that main event was like the crowning jewel. That was a piece of history. And I feel really lucky that I got to be a part of that Fusion got to be a part of that. And the fans were the winner in that fight for sure. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. I would 100%. Levi, I think, was the first to say it. He said, "Who won here was not either one of these fighters, unless, as far as, like spirit wise, who really won was the fans."
Yep. I remember Levi saying that at the event too. It's absolutely the truth. And, it's, there was a passing of the guard there too, because the first fight that Gage ever went and watched as a fan, Lloyd was fighting on that card. So
Incredible.
that was very much a passing of the torch. And Lloyd's not done. He's not done. I really hope that we get Lloyd back for MMA, and Gage. I really hope that we don't get Gage back. Honestly, as much as I want to have more fights with Gage, he is our most winning pro in Fusion Fight League history ever.
What
And
a run he's had.
somebody needs to pick that guy up. He did a shout out. He wants to fight for Bellator, UFC. So he really wants to go fight for Bellator. But I think somebody has got to pay attention to the gangly gangster and give him the opportunity that he deserves. And I
Look at
believe that
the run he's
he's going to
had
keep
in the
getting
last
better
couple of
and
years.
better.
The
Mhm.
last couple of years, like I just tell him every time I see him, I said, boy, I remember first, watching you. You took a couple hard losses, and then, like he was struggling there for a minute, but he put on this new hat of I'm really gonna take this serious, and maybe it was his wife that inspired him or whatever it was that he got the spark he did. He went on a freaking run though.
Yep. Yeah. Well, they're both.
Gathered everyone's belts. He got everyone's belts. I think he's missing a Kill Eagle belt.
They're both they're both training in Vegas. They're both at the UFCPI. They're training at Extreme Couture and making the rounds in Vegas and getting some new input to their game. Plus, they have great coaching at home through Montana MMA. Gage is going to continue to grow in leaps and bounds. We haven't seen the best version of him yet, but one of the things that's so important to me is that both of those fighters are so awesome to work with. Like Gage is such a class act. He is such a good person. He's a great sportsman. He's a competitor through and through. They both were in each other's faces and everything like that, but neither one of them ever crossed the line. They always had good sportsmanship, even when they were chipping at each other. They didn't cross any boundaries.
That understands the business, and they both understand the business. You've seen the lead up. I said, I seen somebody in the comments say something about like, boy, he got different respect now before and after the fight. I said, these fighters know how to sell a fight, is what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think that was just showmanship. And sometimes people pour that on extra to sell tickets. In their case, I think that was raw competitive nature. That when they got around each other, that's two alphas facing off, and they both want the same thing.
It was amazing. I love the weigh-in,
Yeah.
man. The weigh-in set the tone for what we got to look forward to, and that was how a weigh-in should be. Behind the scenes, the fans won't get to know, but behind the scenes, you gave a really good speech to these fighters, and I got to witness it, and I think it really set the tone for their weigh-ins and what they should be doing as fighters, and it really gave you a really good look as a president. So hats off to you during your speech. I didn't get to tell you that I really I sat back and I observed it, and I appreciated a lot of the things that you were saying, just coming from a media perspective, because
I appreciate that.
we want to push these fighters, but sometimes these fighters are unaware that they are the business.
Well, yeah, so I think our organization, I can't speak for other organizations, but I can say on behalf of Fusion Fight League, I feel like we have a responsibility to the fighters all the way across the board. I've said it 100 times, to give them a really good stage to get discovered on, to give them a safe competing environment, to help them learn how to better promote themselves, to try and be a good influence on them, to not play favoritism between different fighters and things like that, and to help them. We want to be the kind of organization that, and we've had that happen when fighters have been going through a difficult time. They reach out to Ryan, they reach out to me, they reach out to Richie. We want to be a resource to them to help them along. And, honestly, the Fight Life Ministries being a part of what we're doing, Zach Anderson and the guys is a perfect plug-in to have their presence for fighters when they're in need. We want to be we want to be a good influence, and we want to hold the fighters to a good standard. We are releasing our fighter code of conduct policy coming out very soon. We believe that competitive banter is great, but there's certain lines that should not be crossed, and we won't tolerate it. And we feel like as an organization, we have to set the standard for that.
Do you feel that's a way different approach compared to what UFC does as an open freedom of speech platform? Like,
no code of conduct.
Yeah, they don't, because Dana, this has been a hot topic, coming into a lot of these movements is Dana refuses to silence his fighters because, there's been media points where, just as an example, Sean Strickland saying some wild shit. But
Well,
he says, I'm not going to take a microphone away from these guys. And if you're expecting me to do so, I'm not going to.
Well, what a fighter says when they're not under contract with us, we have no say in that whatsoever. But while a fighter, amateur or pro, while they're contracted to fight on our promotion, and our amateurs do sign contracts, while they're under contract to fight for us, there are certain boundaries that they are not going to get to cross. And if they do, they'll get a cease and desist notice to start with if it's not too terribly bad, and if they continue to do it, or if it's a bad enough offense, I'll drop them from the card. And
Sure.
What's good for the UFC is good for the UFC. What's good for us, we are not the UFC, and there's a lot of things that we try and emulate
Love
with
that
the
you said that.
UFC, but we are our own entity, and I have to do at the end of the day. We're a vertically led organization, and at the end of the day, I have to be able to look at myself in the mirror and know that I'm not. I don't. I'm very careful about not pushing my faith off onto other people. It's like when we do our fighter prayer in the cage, we ask people to join us if they'd like to. They don't have to, but it's kind of one of those things where I want to know that I'm not being a bad influence on my brothers and leading them down a bad path. I want to be able to go to my church on Sunday and have my pastor not look badly at me. And yes, we're still a fight promotion. We're still punching each other in the face, and there's still alcohol being served. But we've had a lot of fighters turn some corners and walk away from some, whether it's addiction or getting into legal troubles or different things like that. One of my favorite examples is James Dennis. Sometimes get James Dennis to tell his story and how he feels that our organization was a positive for him. And that's really what we want to do. Are we going to do it perfectly? No. And can we save the world? No. But if we can make a difference on our little corner, because
a million times, man, it's
that's
like
what this is about.
in beauty of the fight community, I have seen so many damaged people come together and really make their life really something worth living. And it's
and our
companionship. It's the
Yep.
art, martial arts behind it. What comes behind the beliefs of martial arts, and really dialing in as one people. And it's the community behind the fight community is unreal. There's a real word in community, and it's called unity, and then it's there within the fight community. I really love it.
Absolutely. It's like when we do a fight for a cause benefit and we have professional fighters saying, "Hey, I want to donate my show money to that fight for a cause benefit." I remember Dylan did that in our first fights under the lights in Missoula. It's just kind of like that's what it's all about. That's really what it's all about, because a person can only fight for so long, but who they are as a person is going to follow them forever. And none of us are going to do it perfect. I certainly don't. If I had a dime for every time I screwed something up, I am definitely not perfect, and I'm not under any false illusions. But we try day after day to do the best that we can. And when we screw something up, try and make it right. When somebody brings it to our attention, have that conversation, have that hard conversation, and work through things. That's really what this is about. And that's what Fusion Fight League is to me. And the day that it stops being that way and it's just a moneymaker, and that's why we don't market with blood splatter and the violence. And, the day that is no longer the case, that's the day I'm done. That's the day I walk away from it.
Fair enough. Well, that's a far future from now, hopefully, but we do have some future shit coming up. And one of the reasons why you're joining us tonight is you got a few announcements. One of those announcements being that you got a couple events coming up, and one of them you can talk about those events real quick, briefly, but you also have an exclusive, possibly for us, fight announcement.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I don't know. The bus obviously is very plugged in because somehow you knew about that about as fast as it was happening. So whoever your little bird is, you know, you need to give them extra pats on the back and slide them a little extra change or whatever you're going to slide them because yeah, I mean that.
Hey,
We just take care of
allegedly, we'll slide something.
Yeah, yeah, that was yeah, that's true. So contracts, I will confirm our co-main event for Great Falls contracts have been sent out. We are waiting to get those signed. Everybody's in agreement, but that is Brandon Hegstead, the Viper. That's
Oh,
what a good fight. And I'll let you guys do the second half of it since you guys already launched it. Is taking on who? The
the
Electric City Strangler.
Strangler Ibsen.
Yeah, Ryan Ibsen. I mean, Ryan has been wanting a fight and wanting a fight. He's had things falling through for him and different things not working out, and this just happened to come together. I could not think of a better matchup. Both of these two, you know, and I want to make a special statement on this, and that is with so many fighters out there being so picky about who they take for their pro fights because they're so protective of their record, which I get it. I understand why everybody wants to get their shot at contender and the UFC and everything like that. But you know, you got Ryan Ibsen who's making his pro MMA debut. He's had one pro BKFC fight, which he did really well in, but this is his pro MMA debut, and he's taking on a guy that's 2-1 that was our defending amateur title holder, and he's Brandon Hagstead. Brandon is a slick fighter. He is a great striker. He is a phenomenal ground fighter, and
By the way, and he's fighting a man who doesn't have so much of a reputation, such as Ryan. You know, Ryan has been minimally seen, but
That's
with
'cause he doesn't like social media. That guy.
but what people do not, and but the people who do know, but the people who do not know need to understand is that Ryan is extremely well trained. And we have all in the fight community have been waiting for this for a match to be spoken for, and for these two fighters to meet the way they are. This brings a lot of excitement within the people who fight and the people who cover fighting in this community.
yeah, yeah, and I want to give props to both fighters, not just Ryan Ibsen for stepping up and taking a really tough fight, his pro debut, but for Brandon Hegstead too. Brandon's coming up a full weight division to make this fight happen, and a lot of people don't know Brandon was involved in a really bad car crash. You know, he was on a Terrr, and he was pretty severely injured in a car crash and was out for a long time. And he's been climbing his way back up. He took a pro loss. He's had two pro wins, but you know, he's not shying away from a tough fight either because Ryan Ibsen is he is well, look at his BKFC performance. That kid is nasty, and he's got great coaches with Dave Evans and you know, Sean Ibsen. Let's face it, Sean Ibsen knows the drill. He is steeped in MMA history.
No,
He turns out phenomenal fighters. That is a really tough guy himself. I think Sean Ibsen could step in the cage tomorrow and beat up most people. Bare knuckle MMA, boxing doesn't matter. So
he's a bare knuckle MMA champion in Wesley Kill Eagle's promotion, Kill Eagle Promotions.
yeah. I mean, he is an accomplished fighter. He's super skilled. Dave Evans too. I mean, Dave Evans has a great background. So
Hear from us actually, and he was going against some really tough coaches, man. One of the coaches he actually was in competition and running for was Tim Welch, and we gave it to Dave. Dave at the time had two championship wins, one a defense, and one, you know, he won the initial, you know, with Kai, and at the time Tim was still just coming off of the first win with Sean, so the resume looked thicker for Dave, and you know, and the reality is we love Kai and we love Dave, we know him personally, and the journey was incredible to follow.
And Dave has a great Taekwondo background. He has a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu background. He's very well rounded. He has not had the opportunity to to be with some of the people that Tim Welch. I mean, he's phenomenal, but Tim also got to spend a lot of time with some pretty talented people like John Crouch from the MMA Lab. That is one of the top coaches in the world. I mean, you got Greg Jackson, you got John Crouch. There's a handful of super standout names, and that's who Tim got to work with. Not to mention all the time spent with Matt Powers, and so Dave, what Dave has accomplished. Look what he's done with Kai Stewart. Not to take anything away from Kai. Kai's a talented individual and he's a hard worker, but Dave crafts such a good fight strategy, such a good game plan. That's what I like so much about Dave. And I think these Montana fighters are really lucky because there are some great coaches here in Montana.
A lot of good minds here.
Rob McCaskill, phenomenal coach. Brian Dietz, phenomenal coach. Matt Powers, a phenomenal coach. Will Grundhauser, phenomenal coach. Dave Evans, phenomenal coach. We're very lucky to have the talent that we have for having such a small population. Yeah, we're very lucky.
So let's talk about your next two events before we close out of here. I'm sure you got some sponsors, and I'm sure you want to eat yourself. I know you order pizza. But let's before we wrap it up, because we do have the BKFC presser right now that's going on currently as well. We're competing against them, and it's a miracle that salute to everyone that's staying with us. We love y'all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got a shout out for our main event, Tommy McMillan versus Josh Wright. That is in itself a phenomenal fight. Josh Wright was our title holder, and it is our current title holder, and he's also BKFC Fight of the Night. His two fights with BKFC, his only two fights with BKFC, he got Fight of the Night. One of them against Tom Schoaf, where he knocked Tom Schoaf down in the first round. So if anybody thinks that this is going to be a slouch gimme fight, they are sorely mistaken. This is going to be a true war. So yeah, I think it's going to be great. And I also want to do another little side shout out. Super excited. Dakota Rhodes is going to be making her Fusion Fight League debut with us, and love to see that. Love to see the women stepping up and fighting. And then after that, a couple of dates to throw out there. We've got so Great Falls is April 12th, and it's a Friday, the day before UFC 300. And then April 27th, we've got Bozeman happening at the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse. That's going to be a phenomenal fight card. And then May 11th, we're coming to Billings and having Rumble Under the Rims here in Billings. And they will all be super action-packed fight cards. We're setting a new standard. So I'm really excited.
The Bust and the Fusion boys are all together, running together, busy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really great to have a good relationship with you guys and be supporting each other. You guys are doing such a good job. I really appreciate the positive energy that you guys are bringing to the show. I'm going to wander over here because I know it's getting a little bit dark where I'm sitting, but no, I really appreciate the positive energy that you guys are bringing, not only to Fusion Fight League, but Montana MMA and just the scene in general. Thank you so much for all that you're doing for the MMA community. You guys are really stepping up.
Appreciate that. We love you guys. I want to do a little quick shout out to our man Kyle Serber, man. I know he was really nervous about taking the fight that he did, but he stepped up, signed the contract. He said he's in. He's going to come in down to Flow State and train with Dave and those guys. I think he was here tonight. Yeah, so I want to do a shout out to that guy, man. He's really stepping up. He really is proving that he wants to step into this MMA.
I'm glad that Kyle stepped up, and I have a sneaking suspicion that Kyle's going to surprise some people. That's my dark horse prediction. Keep an eye on Kyle. He's gonna, whether he wins the fight or not, he's gonna bring it. So I'm looking forward to that fight.
I'm just really proud of the kid, man. He said he's going in there and he's willing to perform.
Just like I tell him when we go bowling. Throw more heat, brother.
Yeah.
Do you have any sponsors you want to shout out or anything?
Oh, we've got different sponsors for every event. So I don't want to leave anybody out or anything like that. We're going to be doing plenty of that on social media. So many people that I would want to thank, and I just don't want to leave anybody out. So I'll do that when I cover everybody.
For everyone.
You know what? The halftime is John Enott, Robin, the halftime. They have been with us through thick and thin. And yes, I will always recognize them. So if you're in Great Falls, anytime that there's a Fusion event, make sure you're going to the halftime to check it out. If there's a UFC, go to the halftime and check it out. They are great people and really help to support not only the organizations like BKFC and Fusion Fight League, but they also support the fighters. They do a lot of individual fighter sponsorships. So they really help out a bunch. And they don't have to.
I just want to go back to Missoula real quick. Can you guys explain the Mexican Moose's food? Because I didn't get to eat.
Fire.
Dude, that shit was at a bar. I was like, what's going on?
We just walk in, there's just a Mexican joint in the side of the wall we just order food from, and it was actually really good.
Dude, that shit was fucking thrashing, though.
I didn't get a chance. I'm
Chris was like, this shit's
like, am I in heaven, bro? I just watch fights, and now I'm at this sweet ass punk rock place.
Right? Then if you go out the back door and into the other back door, you're in a swing bar, dude. I was like, these motherfuckers playing country. Dude, we're swinging.
There you go. There you go. So are we talking swing like country swing, or are we talking like a swingers bar? That's a real fine line there. You gotta be clear.
The hold down, and all I know is their sister was there, buzzing. I don't know. Swinging bar, swing bar. I think they go hand in hand. You know,
he's firing off.
I'm going crazy.
I just want to say shout out to all of our sponsors, because if it wasn't for those guys, our trips there wouldn't happen. You know, they allow us, they put us boys in position to be able to make these trips a lot of these times. So shout out to all of them, and we're gonna break them down, starting with Levi going now.
Yeah, Hudson's trash removal. If you need something taken out, call our boy Hudson. He'll get it quick, fast, in a hurry, and done right.
I want to shout out to the Premier team, the best realtor service in all of the Great Falls area. Shout out to Audrey, Amber, and Paul. If you guys are looking to sell or buy a house, get a hold of those guys there, because they are the Premier team for a reason.
He said Premier team, and you know what else that means. The #1 vape shop in town and 4 other towns. 20 past 4.
You want to stop vaping head shop?
Yes, sir. You got to go visit them. Billings, Helena, Great Falls ×2, Prescott, Arizona.
Also, shout out to Bucked Up. Make sure you get bucked up with the boys, and if you do, make sure you use our promo code. And the promo code is weekly. It will save you money by using 20%. It. Use the promo code is weekly, 20% off your checkout. And they like us, we like them, and I'm sure you will enjoy them as well. They'll get your day started out per Roper.
But what else will you enjoy? The #1 dispensary in Montana, native grown. I said voted 2 years in a row, #1 native grown.
And if you want to spend some money and try to possibly gamble, go throw a few bucks at Emerald City and grab a taco at Amigo Lounge while you do it. Right next door to each other. 2 great joints in Great Falls. Shout out to Johnny Knott and Robin.
Yeah.
Thanks for dealing with those. We're like a NASCAR jacket. We got to label them off, but those are our people. We got to make sure they get their shine.
Oh, and John Hargett, I did like your comment earlier. You said you did Special Olympics basketball and you wanted to come on and talk about it. I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Right here.
I triple that vote. Special Olympics is the way to go.
That's right.
Terrell, thanks you for always joining and gracing your presence on the show. You're always a wonder to be around, because you're always spitting game. I'm always learning from you.
Let's reiterate the breaking news real quick. Go, Ty. Co-maining.
So co-main here in Great Falls, people, listen up. If you guys want to see a motherfucking gangster, man, he's going to get down. They goes by the name Ryan, the Electric City Strangler Ibsen. He's going to be challenging a very tough fighter who goes by the name
Brandon
Higstad. Yeah, the Viper.
Right?
The Viper.
Yeah, yep. Higstad. Who is coming back and ready to kick some ass, dude. So we're going to see some really talented fighters get in here and perform in front of you guys.
Oh, shit.
I'm telling you, Missoula was really good, and I'm not expecting Great Falls to be any less. Great Falls is well known as the fight city of Montana, so I expect it to show out, and we'll see what it's all about out here coming soon.
New message in from Sean Ibsen. He says, Terrell, let us know if you ever consider an old guy BK MMA championship. We may have a few step up. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
What?
You know,
fuck, dude.
I would love to see Sean Ibsen fighting in our cage. I would love to see him fighting bare knuckle. That would be a super, super good treat. So, yeah, props off to him. Would love to have him in.
Fuck, dude, I think that's exclusive on its own. What the fuck was that? Let's go.
Well, and just we've said it. We've made it clear. We want to have some bare knuckle bouts. We want to do bare knuckle MMA. We want to do. We want.
Are you listening, Montana?
We
are
talked.
you fucking paying attention?
We talked about that once before, but on the other side of that, we definitely want to help when the time comes, and they can work it out budget wise and everything like that. We will do everything in our power to help BKFC bring Prospector Series to Montana and the surrounding areas, and through that, we will give a lot of fighters a chance to get seen and get on the big show for BKFC.
He deserves it, Montana, man. This is what fight fucking community is all about, and he's been speaking for you guys for a long time. Let's go. Terrll Bracken, Fusion Fight League, thank you for gracing your presence on the weekly bus, man, and spending the evening with us as we get to know you and what you have going on. And salute to your brand, man. Fusion in Missoula was a fucking dream.
And April 12th, Fusion's coming right here to you. Make sure you get your tickets live.
Yep, tickets are available at the Halftime Sports Bar. You can get them at eventgroove.com. We have VIP tables available on eventgroove.com. You can get tables by calling me directly at 406-697-0542. Also, support your local fighter by buying tickets from them as well, because they'll get a cut off of everything that they sell. So support your fighter if you know one.
Jace Buck. Jace Buck had a charity for he had an unfortunate accident, and I reached out to you privately. Thank you for donating 2 tickets to the upcoming show to Fusion. There was someone who did make a bid. They did buy it, so there's going to be somebody's going to be reaching out to the halftime. I'd have to get the name, and
awesome.
they'll be getting those tickets.
All right,
awesome, very good. Guys, thank you so much. It is my pleasure and my privilege to be on the show. I really appreciate it. We're just together. We're going to keep pushing and growing and moving, and let's just work together as a fight community. I really say thank you so much.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And on April 12th, Tommy McMillan takes on Josh Wright.
That's going to be fun too. Let's go.
Hell yeah. All right.
Thank you, Terrll.
With that,
you have a wonderful evening, brother.
Bus. Thank you.
See you guys. Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Peace, love, save the wells.